Okay, so I'm sitting out here on a beautiful day. Um, Beautiful in the sense of it's it's not too bright and sunny, which means that I don't have the intense heat beating on me right now. It is, however, very muggy out here. Air is kind of thick, um, but it's a great day. I'd rather have this than the cold anytime. Um, for you all that likes the cold weather and fall, y'all can keep that mess. I don't like it. But what I'm out here today is to talk about duplicating trees. And a lot of times you will buy, say, peach tree, lemon tree, lime, and you fall in love with this tree. And you say to yourself, I wouldn't mind having another one. Or let's just say one of your friends sees your trees or a family member and they say, wow, where can I get that from? And you tell them the price, and yeah, well, maybe I get it on the next pay or whatever. What I've done and been successful with, I would say probably 95% of the time, not to toot my own horn, but what I would do is I would take a branch. Um, I went over my mom's house, for example. I take a branch off of one of her lemon trees that she had, and it was a variegated lemon tree, and it's a beautiful looking tree. The leaves are like green, white, and I believe the fruit is a mixture. The outside color is green and yellow, or yellow and white. And then I know the inside of the plant is pink, which is, wow, gorgeous. But what I did is, I'll show you an example. I clipped a branch early this summer, and I believe it was this one right here, and maybe about 5 inches I clipped. Well, look what we have here. We have variegated lemon tree. I'm going to feed it chicken poop, fish emulsion, and before the end of the summer, which is another 2 weeks or so, this thing should explode in size. This is pretty impressive for where it was before. Also, I have another tree that was one branch. Ooh, can you see me? Yeah, I can see you. Okay, this was actually one branch right here. And I usually cut about 5-6 inches worth. I don't want to do any damage to the tree that I'm removing this from, but look at this. This thing right here. Woo! We're gonna keep tabs on this one right here. I think next year, this thing is gonna be double or triple the size. Here's another. Hold on a second. Look at this. And it keeps going. And it keeps going. That is crazy. This right here was one little twig. Like I said, I love to do 5 to 6 inches when I make my cut. And this right here is probably a $30 to $40 tree. And these are all lemons. And I think this one might be, doesn't have a lemon scent, so she had a bush that was a 3-in-1. I believe this is the orange part. It was like a 3-in-1 citrus. Lemon, lime, and orange. And I believe I cut this off the orange branch. What she had was a tree that you would call, what's the terminology for this tree? It's like a 3-in-1. And what they do is they take 3 different branches from 3 different trees and they put it on a root stock that say your area has a disease against citrus, but this root stock came from a citrus tree that was able to fight this disease. So what happens is once you put the branches onto the tree, it becomes disease resistant. And I believe that's what this is right here. All right, my final one, this little guy right here. This is actually a perfect example of the size that I normally clip. I believe I got this one late in the game. This is from one of mine. And I wanted to see what it can do. And yeah, here we go. I don't smell the leaves, which is unusual because with lemon trees, if you sniff the leaves, it's wonderful. Some people would take the leaves off the plant, not every leaf, but they would take the leaves off the plant, allow them to dry. Some people would dehydrate them, crumble them up, or put them in some type of food processor, make a powder out of it, sprinkle it on your carpet, vacuum it up, and you have something like a potpourri scent in the air. You can also take the leaves and boil them in water, switch it over to some type of air pump, or I'm sorry, not an air pump. You can switch them over to some type of water pump, and you can spray like your curtains. You can like mist your furniture, and you had that lemon scent in the air. Now, I had another one of these trees. Oh, you know what? Let me back up. Here's one of the original leaves off of it. See how it's cut? Pretty much right here. What I do is, don't want to jump around, but let me explain this process. So when I do cut the branch or the limb or the twig or whatever part of the tree it is, I'll cut it and I'll leave like maybe 2 or 3 leaves on it. Sometimes I will cut the leaf in half. And here's another one, another original leaf. I don't know if you can see that. But I keep the leaves on there for photosynthesis so the plant can at least feed itself until the roots are established. Once the roots are established, these plants usually just take off. Let's see, so far I've done a pear tree, plum, lemons, lime, and I've done peach. I was unsuccessful with the peach, and that's because I think I took too much of the branch. I believe that was the issue, and I didn't have any leaves on it. So that did not work. But this method right here seems to work every time. Now, another way that I just tried and I peeked at was, I don't know what the technique's called, but what you do is you get a Ziploc bag, put dirt in it, put some amendments in, perlite, peat moss, if you have that, mix it all together, wet it down, take the excess water out, take a knife, split the bag down the middle. Then for the tree, you find a nice limb, scrape away the bark, all the way down past the cadmium layer to the layer underneath that, all the way around. What you're doing is you're breaking the, I guess it's like circulatory system of a tree. So what happens is it stops at a certain point. It doesn't, the water and nutrients doesn't travel all the way up. So what you do is you take this bag, wrap it around that area that you cut, tie it off good with some twine, twigs, or any type of rope that's thin enough that won't cause any harm. Once you do that, then some people take aluminum foil and they wrap it over that to fool the roots that when they come that they're still underground, which encourages better growth. Usually after about 3 months or so, you take it off and you should see roots. I just checked mine and there's no roots. and it's been about maybe a month. There's no roots, but the good sign is everything above the cut is still green and healthy. So that lets me know that this tree is still good. So that's my first time trying that method. Do I like that method? At the moment, I'm gonna say no, I don't like that method, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see in about a month or so. If it does has roots, then what I do is make the cut right under the roots, and I pot it up and go from there. Maybe I gift this plant to someone. Now, since I'm in zone 7, technically you can't really grow these in this zone. It's too cold during the winters. We dip too far below the frost. I guess it would be called like frost zone. We dip too far below that. So what I do is I bring these plants in the house in the wintertime, especially if it's going to hit about 30 degrees at night. So this would be considered a patio tree. Put it on the patio during the spring and summer, bring it in the house in the winter, patio. Now, once inside, I don't fertilize. I just usually keep a regularly scheduled water. This year, what I'm going to do is, in order to prevent gnat or fruit fly infestation, can't say that word, it's too early. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put sand over top of the dirt, which will prevent the eggs from hatching. It will prevent whatever's in there from, I guess, being born. Yeah, being born. And reduce the gnat population that's in the house, because it's crazy. Or I may just keep these in the garage under a grow light and put it on the schedule. That'll probably be the ideal, even though these plants look wonderful indoors. Look wonderful. We're not doing the gnats in the house, not this year. It's so hard getting rid of them little monsters. But just wanted to share with you all a little short video of what I do with my citrus trees. Sometimes if I have a nice peach tree that no one else has, or if I want to duplicate a tree that I have, and it's like, oh, I like this tree and I want to put it on my property, I will duplicate it and I will move it on my property, and I save a lot of money because I don't have to purchase another $50 to $60, $100 tree. One time's enough. Now, and speaking of that, walk with me. Let's walk. We're going on a trip. I want to show you this tree that I have that I'm really, really loving. And I think what I'm going to do is I am going to duplicate this tree right here behind me. This is my apricot tree. This tree right here is about 3 years old. This is crazy. When I first got this tree, it was right there. Now look at it. Let's go around. I don't know if the light will allow you to see it. But what we're going to do is we're going to back up. We're going to see it in all its glory. Look at that. And it just keeps going and going and going. I think I can probably get about 4 nice trees off of here. maybe what I can do is I can cut right here. Put the zip lock right here, and boom. Then zip lock right here. Boom, that's another tree. Definitely this branch right here. That's a whole tree right there in itself. Because what you don't want, here's another one. What you don't want is you don't want a lot of this stuff crowding in. You want circulation. You want this plant to be able, this tree to be able to breathe. So this would go right here. You know what? Let me spin you around. Give me a second.